Okay. Did who is hosting this one?
I am.
Okay. We should be recording. So just general FYI, this is the February Sandbox review. We have the general LF antitrust policy. Um, as a general reminder, we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which essentially boils down to please be excellent to each other. With that, we will kick it over to the review.
All right. You share or should I share?
I am. Can you see it? I'm.
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can share. You can share. Whatever your preference.
I just have one question because we have one in waiting, which is Hyperlight. They did present to Tag Runtime 5 days ago, and we had mentioned that we would review it offline after that was done. So I think they provided enough information with the notes and the comments at the end. So should we do this one offline, as we said? I think Emily in the comment just above had mentioned we would follow this up offline.
Has
We can
Okay.
do it live, yeah. Chris is suggesting we do it right now.
I mean, you're all here, but
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case people didn't look at it yet, because it only came
Oh.
in 5 days ago, the last comment,
Yeah.
which is the notes from Tag Runtime. I'm not sure anyone looked at it.
Maybe we should get through the list and
Okay.
then if there's time, because
We
it
can-
should be a fast review today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Sounds fair. Let's do that. Then the first one is KitOps in my list.
Which one? KitOps?
I don't know. For some reason, I have a different ordering. But,
Oh,
yeah.
this is sorry. We doesn't matter too much. We can.
Okay. So KitOps. So this is a way to store and manage AML artifacts as OCI artifacts using container registry. I believe this is assigned to Duffy and myself. Tims, you also had a few questions in the pull request. Anyone wants to start with the discussion?
Yeah, my question was tangential because I saw something that didn't fit, so I was asking about it. But overall, I think it felt like you know a good thing for us to get this project on. But I leave it up to you, Ricardo, because you probably poked at them a little bit more than me.
Yeah, I had two questions that I left there as well. One was the integration with existing serving tools, given that they manage the artifacts. So they did reply saying they'd have integration with Kserve as well, and they pointed to where that is. Although the documentation points people to the Kubernetes-based deployments. The second question was the integration with tools like Kubeflow, MLflow, and they also provided a very nice description of how they plan to do this. Overall, I think this is very much on topic and required. So, yeah, I don't have any other comments apart from that.
Yeah, totally agree. I think this project seems really, really interesting and exciting and feel the need while we are trying to grow AI related projects and how it fits in CNCF.
Are we good to move to a vote then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. And what was the next one on your list, Ricardo?
I have K-Sail. And K-Sail is an SDK for building GitOps enabled Kubernetes clusters as per the summary, but in practice it's CLI. I believe this is assigned to Kevin and Dave. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin has a lot more to add. I looked at this a while ago, and it seems like a perfectly good and interesting tool. But in looking at the repo, for example, it looks like there's, I think, just one contributor and not a ton of, I don't know, like community and activity around it. So, like, it seems like an interesting tool, but it seems like it needs a little bit more time to build into something. Like if you look at the Insights tab or even at the top, it has like 3 forks. And I think if you go to contributors, there's one contributor and then a whole bunch of various different kinds of bots.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
Kevin, I don't know if you have something more to add, but I feel
Yeah,
like it needs a little time to mature first.
yeah, it looks in a very early stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that I did ask there was the choice of the tooling and the code. It seems like a higher barrier for folks here. If there has to be, cross pollination between the existing projects and this project, that's going to be a barrier.
yeah. There was also Emily's comment in her notes where she mentioned that this is a perfect candidate for the future toolbox. There were some comments on the chat as well. So I think the Karina's suggestion to recommend further community building and waiting for the toolbox and reapply is probably fair.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to volunteer to follow up with the comments on this one?
I guess either Dave or Kevin, since they're already assigned.
Okay. Dave, can you do that?
Yeah, I guess I can totally do that. I'm going to be gone from the TOC very soon. I don't know if you want, I assume Kevin is sticking around past the end of my term, so I don't know if you want Kevin's name on it, just so when they respond, someone is still here. But otherwise, I can just do it, and then if they respond after I'm gone, you guys can work it out, or I can pass it up to someone.
And it's mostly comment and close.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted them to have someone to talk to if they wanted to talk. But
Yes, yeah.
I'm not dying. I'm just leaving the TOC, so they can still talk to me.
We'll watch it too, Dave.
I think it's fair. Just do it, Dave. Close it, and the comments will all follow them anyway if they reopen or reach out.
Okay.
All right. The next one I have is Kepimitius. And here the description is that it's an open source natural language interface for Prometheus monitoring, basically allowing ProQL queries in any language. And then it mentions integration with Grafana and using Bedrock from Amazon for query translation. This is assigned to Emily and Karina.
So when I looked at this, and I do agree with Emily's notes there. When I looked at this, it looked very focused on AWS Bedrock, Amazon Bedrock. And also it really looks generated by AI. It's a very long application. It just doesn't look like it's a good fit right now. And the roadmap doesn't look like it's moving outside of just Amazon support. So it would be, and so what Bart is saying there, it would be good for them to connect more with the Prometheus community first, see if they can either integrate with Prometheus, or at least provide clarification on their roadmap on support outside of Bedrock. So
yeah, I think Emily also mentioned that the support for Amazon only or Bedrock only is kind of a stopper right now, and she recommends they expand this. I think there were a couple of comments from Bartik as well in the pull request, where he puts a few questions that didn't get a reply directly, but he also mentions and points to a Prometheus discussion where they want to implement a similar feature inside Prometheus.
Yeah. I can go ahead and follow up on that if.
Yeah, I guess the summary would be we recommend expanding beyond Bedrock, but also reach out to Prometheus to see if there's possibility to just integrate with what they're looking at.
Yeah, I'd point him back towards this issue here and Bart's questions.
Yeah.
So
does this sound reasonable to everyone? Okay. Looks like it. All right. So the next one I have is Joy Live Agent, which is a bytecode enhanced microservice traffic governance framework for applications multi-active. They do have a diagram inside the repo that gives a bit more of an idea of what they are looking at. This is assigned to Tim's and myself. I think Tim's, you had a couple of questions to them.
Yeah. So the way it looks to me is this is an agent that is sitting where the probably inside the pod, for example, right? And it does the integration with the applications by using Java bytecode injection, things like that. The main thing here is the agent can't work by itself standalone. And right now it seems to be picking up instructions on what it needs to do and how to coordinate with the rest of the other agents living elsewhere through a flat file based configuration. So I guess the issue is there is no control plane, right? And what they are saying here is that they want the community to write a control plane from scratch, so to say. So that is the thing here. Like they want to start from the agent, but then expand out into control plane. JoyLive itself has a control plane existing that they have, but it's too big and too cumbersome to open source it as what one of the comments there says. So that's basically what I learned about it. Ricardo, did I miss anything?
I think that's it. I also followed a bit, so it seems like they have the control plane. They're donating an agent and expecting that another control plane is developed. So I think Emily also had a comment that the project is less than a year old and does not appear to have enough potential adopters as evidence and Stars Watchers forks, and she believes it's not ready for the CNCF. I think that's a fair summary as well. Other people have comments?
Yeah, honestly, I don't fully understand what problem they are trying to solve. Like, why do people even need to adopt this thing? So I feel like the project went too down into what they are trying to do, but not describing what problem space they're trying to solve.
I guess it's reversing the thing to Len. It's basically like once you have a control plane, the control plane can tell the agents what to do, but then they just have the framework here on the agent side, so you can do whatever you want, but what exactly to do is something that will come from the control plane. So it's like, okay, there is some code here which can inject bytecode and do some traffic governance is basically where they want to start, and they want to start with those things that they called out, RocketMQ, Kafka, and Spring related applications. So yeah,
I guess the main question is.
So
yeah, go ahead.
It does seem like it doesn't seem like the agent on itself has a purpose without a control plane, so it doesn't make much sense to donate this without the control plane.
Yeah,
Agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Would anyone like to volunteer to follow up on comments?
It's either Dims or myself. Dims, do you
Yeah,
want to
I
do
can
it?
do that.
Cool. All right, the next one I have is Yoke, which is an ecosystem for Kubernetes packages as code powered by WASM, a set of tools for working with package management. And it's around kind of an alternative to pure YAML. This is assigned to Dave and Kevin.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I can almost repeat the same thing I said last time, and with the same potential deference to Kevin, and the same thing Emily's notes say. Like, it looks interesting, but it's super early. I think, unlike the last project, there are 2 contributors and some bots, but I still don't think that gets it over the line for us taking it to a vote. But I mean, it does look interesting.
Kevin, do you have anything else?
I also asked them
yes.
if they. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Dims.
I think I also asked them if they talked to the Helm folks or Carvel folks, and they hadn't.
Kevin, do you have something else?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also took a look at the project. So it has its own concept which looks interesting, but I think they are not yet completed the basic features they are going to implement. So it's really an early stage project. And also, I took a look at the all the issues. I think mainly from one person. It's like tracking the tasks to be developed, and the only other one people created an issue. So also not yet much proven information from user perspective.
Okay, so I think we agree it's too early. But should we, because I just realized they didn't reach out to Helm or any other project, should we close it saying it's too early, but with a recommendation to reach out to the projects and maybe also to a tag for a presentation? Does that make sense?
I would hold off on the tag.
Yeah.
Like, reach out for now, just because the reboot's around the corner.
Yeah, we should tell them to talk to the projects for sure, and come back later.
Okay, fair enough. And we need a volunteer, so we got Dave in the previous one. Kevin, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can do it.
Thank you. All right, the next one I have is K Gateway, which we all heard about in the last KubeCon. And it's a feature-rich, fast and flexible Kubernetes native ingress controller. API gateway. So we have it to Dims and Katie, and it's submission by Lynn, but we have Dims and Katie assigned.
Katie, please.
Yeah. Yeah, as we all know, there's an initial issue which was open during KubeCon in North America. I think there was a naming convention issue which was very kind of well resolved since then. I think the Kubernetes Steering Committee reached a resolution in terms of naming of the project, so I think that was definitely helpful for us to get some guidance to the wider community. Yeah, I think initially also this was and request for incubation, so definitely kind of surpasses that Sandbox level. So looking for the project, I think it's very well maintained. It has a very healthy amount of contributors for a Sandbox project because this is a Sandbox application. So like in regards to the momentum around the project, I think it looks very well. I don't have any major concerns around it, to be honest. James?
All good with me. Thank you.
Just one additional note, actually Nick from Tag Network, he left a comment and then he actually did a project review that is linked also at the end in the last comment from yesterday. So there is additional information there that is quite interesting also in the document that he produced. So I think we all agree that this moves to a vote, just pointing out that there was this work from Nick as well. I don't know if Nick is in the call. Yeah, he is. Nick, do you want to add something?
I would just echoing everything. I mean, I think K Gateway is an incredibly valuable project for the CNCF. I mean, the pedigree of the applications obviously is previously as glues, but like seven years worth of production development and also an incredible amount of adoption. So I think it's actually a really generous donation from Solo, and yeah, we would fully back the project and hope actually the next step is incubation.
All right. I think we agree on moving to a vote.
Cool.
All right. The next one I have is deploy SH, which is a set of portable shell scripts for deployments to Docker, native Linux, BSD, CentOS, macOS, etc. And it's deploying, Kubernetes on Docker. I think we have Emily and Lynn assigned it.
Yes, I'll speak on behalf of her as well, since I have her notes. Yeah, so it's definitely a bunch of scripts, and I think I just don't see, a lot of momentum on these projects. For instance, there's only like 2 star and it's a 0 fork. So this project was born in somebody's personal repo. And it's just a bunch of scripts to do things. So I honestly don't know how. This is also why I've been kind of championing the idea of, for the sandbox, let's make sure they have the number of forks and stars, so to demonstrate the project has some momentum before they apply, because I really feel like project under like 100 star and a very limited number of forks could end up be a waste of our time to review. I think this one is definitely one of the examples from somebody's personal repo.
So also looking at yeah, Karina, you have your hand raised. So.
I just wanted to call out that I wonder, as an outcome of this meeting, because we have a number of projects that would be better for Toolbox, that look at if we need to provide better guidance on what is a good sandbox project. Because a lot of people have put in a lot of time to create the applications, think it through, and, it is a bunch of scripts, but somebody put their heart into all these scripts. So versus, what can we do? Anyway, that's all.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But even for Toolbox, I don't assume we'd automatically admit everybody. I think there has to be some metrics, right? Because everything we admit, we have to look at the health check down the road. So
just it's the better guidance on, what can we do to help projects so that, like you said, we're not spending the time reviewing and they're not spending the time. They could be spending time actually writing more code with other projects, like,
exactly
Prometheus that we just talked about. Yeah.
Right, was writing the Sandbox application, which is 2-page long.
What was the was it Common House, or with the other sort of form of just a very, very lightweight place for projects to go? Like that could be that could be a potential recommendation for, projects that are that very, very early stage. And also I want to echo what Lynn and Chris said in chat, just like we shouldn't just say everything can, like, all these little things can go into Toolbox. Like, the barrier should still be, like, there should be a relatively high standard around it.
I just wanted to add from the comments from Emily. She does say that she would like to see this in Toolbox in the comments. And she then mentioned something like, we need to create a Toolbox label for the existing Sandbox applications. That would be a good fit. I think this is also a good point, is that in some cases we are closing the applications, but the ones that fit the Toolbox, we might want to keep track of those for the future. And the other thing I would like to just comment is that it seems that this project was created on December 28th last year, so it's really, really early.
Yeah.
So we can also just close it saying it's very early, the project has to grow, and potentially reapply for Toolbox in the future.
So if we want to ask, I'm thinking about me, you're going to ask me to enter the comments, so I'm going to ask the question. If we want them to apply for Toolbox, do we have guideline to how to do that? Like, is it well
No.
documented? That's my struggle, right?
So
I can't.
Not yet.
Yeah.
that is one of the things to be addressed when the new TOC is seated, but that also goes beyond just the TOC, and we need to sort of figure out, what that looks like from a management perspective in terms of, like, what resources do they get and all that for that stuff. That is a much bigger conversation that is not going to be answered immediately.
So
In that
maybe
case,
we just well,
go ahead. Sorry.
Chris mentioned in the chat. Mentioned in the chat that we can just close it, saying it's too early and they can apply later for potential for Toolbox.
Sounds good. I'll take the action for that.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. And maybe, Bob, an action on us is to start flagging the ones that would be a good fit, that we mentioned would be a good fit for Toolbox, so that also when we define Toolbox, we recover all these comments.
Okay. Well, that leaves Cozy Stack. Oh, there's Cozy Stack and Interlink.
There's Cozy Stack. So Cozy Stack is a cloud platform and framework PaaS for providing internal and external users with managed Kubernetes, databases, and services on bare metal. It's assigned to Karina and Katie.
So Katie, really fast, is that this is the one that I had objections to earlier because there wasn't, the last time it came through, they hadn't provided clear, separation between product and project. And we asked them to go back, get more adopters, and fix a number of things, and they have addressed it. And actually, they kind of went above and beyond as well. And they've added a lot of new features since last time, and it looks more mature. And I think this would be a good candidate for Sandbox. Katie?
I do agree. This is a return project from last year in February, so it's been a year since they kind of went back home and did a lot of work. I think all of the four main issues that we highlighted last time in kind of regarding the separation and community and governance, I think they were all addressed. I think they mostly focus on cloud native projects as well, which I think was a concern previously. So now they have a bit more of a coverage of our ecosystem. So I think overall, great work in the last year. Want to echo that as well. No objections from my side. It looks very, very good for a Sandbox project.
Excellent. So if no more comments, I think we move to a vote on this one and congratulate the project for following the recommendations and coming back.
Honestly, that's something that we should highlight more when projects do, go and follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really worth highlighting that. And the last one is Interlink. So that's a plugin-based framework to streamline the development of virtual kubelet providers, seamlessly integrating any local or remote compute resource. And it's assigned to Dims and Duffy. Dims?
Yeah, you also had some input here, Ricardo, right? At least when we spoke.
Yes, so I can mention as well, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, you should start and then I'll pick from there.
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned this because I actually mentioned if they would be interested. This is a project that is actually sponsored by European Union funds. That is kind of pushed by INFN, which is the Italian National Institute for Physics. And the main purpose that this project is interesting for a lot of research organizations is the possibility to integrate HPC resources into Kubernetes clusters in a kind of seamless way by benefiting from the virtual kubelet. I think the worries that you raised, which is the dependency on the virtual kubelet and whether this should basically merge with them, is quite relevant. But the virtual kubelet does have other providers and has been there for a while. So maybe we need to discuss a bit that point.
Right. So yeah, the project itself seems very definitely worthwhile for the folks here, and grow beyond the scientific community, so to say, right? The main so there's two ways to think about it. One is can they collaborate more with virtual kubelet? They mentioned that there wasn't too much of an opportunity to do that, or they did some. I saw some commits and issues for sure, but there was not too much going on between the two of them. And I don't know how healthy the virtual kubelet community is right now, and whether we might need to end up doing a health check on them. I'll have to go back and do that. I haven't done that yet. So that is the biggest problem here. So either we need to increase, the number of people who are working on virtual kubelet, or these folks might end up forking virtual kubelet, so to say, and maintaining a copy themselves and move it forward, right? So those are the kind of the two options that are out there. So they might end up having to do more things than what they have signed up for here because of the potential health risk with virtual kubelet. That is, I don't know if they want to take it on or not, and whether they are aware of it or not. And it looks like they are probably aware of it. Ricardo.
Yeah. So Chris, you had a couple of comments on the chat. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dims that virtual kubelets in a bit of a weird state, and then needs a health analysis. But I kind of view as bringing this project in is a way of potentially helping that project out. There may be a desire to improve it, or maybe just redo, what they're currently using VK. So I don't see like a downside for CNCF overall. Like I do think either VK gets fixed or, archived, and we have potentially another solution for folks that care about this type of thing. So overall, I think it's good to have this in as like a bit of a sandbox experiment. I think it'll help accelerate an eventual solution to VK.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Your assessment. So
yeah.
So should we summarize it? Sorry. Go ahead,
the main thing there is I wanted to make sure that they are going in with the eyes open and not say, oh my God, what did we do here? Right? So that was the main concern here for me.
To add to that, I did. They mentioned CNCF contacts in the application. They mentioned me. Yeah, I did go through it because they presented at the CNCF research and user group as well, and I kind of guided them in the sandbox and explaining to them what it means and everything, because they had to do some internal checks with their organizations as well before donating. So maybe.
Yeah.
maybe what we do is we open to a vote, but we do put a note saying that the clarification of or potential synergies between this and virtual kublets should be clarified before incubation, something like that, or towards incubation. Let's say it like this.
I don't want to put a caveat there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's fine.
Then,
We'll just vote and let the chips fall as they may. At least they are aware of it, and we should encourage them to, like, they were talking about a presentation to VK maintainers, so that will be good good for them to do for sure.
okay. Then open to vote if everyone agrees.
Something else that might help if any virtual kubelet maintainers are going to be at the maintainer summit, and if any of these folks will be there, like that'd be a good, like we can get them, like, try and encourage them to sit down and talk to each other more too.
Yeah, so actually the project has a presentation at KubeCon, so Diego will be there as well, the submitter. So
Awesome.
It's a good opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, that or like the project pavilion, we can get them to meet up with each other.
So I think next is Hyperlight. And so this is an open source Rust library you can use to execute small embedded functions using hypervisor-based protection for each function call at scale. It's assigned to Emily and Nikita. I don't think Emily had notes on this one because we have it in the waiting.
No, I don't see the notes.
Nope.
And we don't have Nikita. Through the comments. Dims, you did comment on this in December.
I can pick it up from what I had commented there. So I love it. We should do this. We have to figure out like how it's going to evolve, right? Like it is a Rust library right now, but then like what form or what shape it's going to take from now on is going to be the critical point here. Chris, please chime in.
Yeah, so I'm on mute. Sorry, maybe not on mute. So I think pieces like that, like, this is obviously biased opinion here. I think for, future of CNCF and cloud native, there's kind of going to be a bit of let's call it experimentation and rewrites on the lower layers of the stack. And I think this project provides a critical piece for that, right? So we don't really have any kind of low-level VMM style technology, and so if we're going into a future where we're going to be running potentially WASM related modules or serverless function, I think this is a good piece of plumbing to enable that. So I think we're starting to get like the pieces together in CNCF to run and enable. It's good stuff. So that's how I see it. I mean, there's obviously some relation to Firecracker here, Dims, on your end.
Yeah.
From AWS, but they're more orthogonal. Like I think potentially Firecracker could use pieces of Hyperlight, but I haven't done enough of a deep dive. But I think this is good in general.
Definitely.
For CNCF.
Here, the focus is more about like running small pieces of things rather than like the entire container, so to say, right?
Yep.
So which is a different pattern that we are seeing here that I would like to encourage as well, like you say.
Yep.
Karina, you have your hand raised as well.
My question would be, is we have the other applications that we've recommended that wait for a future toolbox. Does this meet enough to be a sandbox project? Because we're talking about it does little things here and there, but if we're going to say no to other projects, but recommend this for a vote, we're just wanted to make sure for follow-up questions, where's Where are we defining
It
line?
it's yeah, it's a little bit. I view it as a little bit above the line of just like a bunch of like scripts or a small library, right? This is like even I would say closer to like a not fully container D, but more in line with that. So it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. The
Is,
like
is a,
for me, it's like, do we see this ever getting to a point where it'd be graduated?
So that's what I was going to say. So even before it gets into incubation, it needs to
Mhm.
find its applications and like who are the
Yeah,
general users and like how are they going to use it, sort of thing. Is it still going to continue to be a developer-oriented library, or is it going to morph
yeah,
to a general use case where people
yeah.
deploy this and then run some of the basic stuff that they want to run on it? So I think,
Yep.
yeah, does that make
Will
sense?
there be?
Yeah,
Yeah. Will there be a shim potentially? There's many ways potentially to
right.
I think integrate this, and I think they need the space to evolve that, and it is already used in production cases inside of Microsoft, so it's not like a full experiment. Um,
By the way, does the project have a website? I went to the website, but it says GoDaddy domain.
that I don't know. I don't necessarily hold that against the project if they don't have a full website, but they should get one.
Yeah, because I was thinking about you guys said how would a user using it, right? What are
Mhm.
the scenario they're solving? It's not super clear. Like if I want to try this today, oh, as a user, how would I do it? That what's not
Yeah, they have enough instructions in their Len to try some small experiments out.
okay
I
in the
think
GitHub.
the issue, yeah, the issue, it's in the GitHub. The issue is
Yeah,
the website they put in the application doesn't exist.
Yeah,
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's in the docs directory. I don't know where they're publishing it, but they definitely do have a lot of docs.
Yeah, they do in the GitHub, but for some reason the website is not up.
Move to vote. Yes, +1 from me.
Sounds good. Anyone?
Anything else on the
Sounds like
backlog?
it. We go to the votes. And yeah, we do have one in the backlog left. So we actually cleaned up. The only one missing is OPA. I don't know how to pronounce this, which is a submission from just a couple of days ago. And this is a submission of a project that was in LFAI and comes to the CNCF from Intel. It is not assigned to anyone. What do we want to do?
So I want to hear the context from Chris a little bit on like how this came about, or like what the expectation is for us, and so on. Because
So I think we should just review it. I think part of it is the team over there has done an analysis, and maybe a year ago when they were looking to contribute the project, CNCF wasn't the right fit, but we've done um, a lot more let's call it cloud native AI for lack of a better term, and a lot of they call them blueprints are basically using a mix of CNCF projects, right? Basically how to efficiently build infrastructures to run like Gen I or AI related applications stitching together. So they have a bunch of examples, templates. It is a decently active, community. So I think they just view CNCF as a better home for what they're doing. Yeah, they have like a bajillion of these like little examples. So I think the TSA just give a review of this. It's a little bit interesting because I think they may have some libraries there, but it's mostly um, uh, like templates and examples here. So, but that's my initial read on it. But they do have an active community for sure.
another question I had, Chris, was
Mhm.
is this the first of many, or is it do you
I don't think it's the first. We've had what, K-Serve, I think, is, I don't know if that full through.
Yeah,
We
we
only
had
had
case serve.
yeah, a couple. So I think what folks are seeing is if there's some type of strong, Kubernetes or CNCF project bias, then they like CNCF. If it's more generic, then LFAI is fine. But my attitude always is wherever projects want to go and live, like let the maintainers kind of make that choice and the respective TOCs, TSCs figure out what's best. So
I think where end users live is also important, because if you look at the
yep,
projects they have, it's not what we would hear about at KubeCon or Cloud Native Con.
yeah,
It's really like libraries to manage quantization of models and things like this, which don't really fit on Cloud Native.
yeah. It's a mix of there's a lot in there. So I do think we need to do a bit of a dive. I think their TSC on the LFAI side has already okayed this. So it's kind of up at the TOC side on here to kind of review and work with it. I do think getting a little bit more understanding of what's actually included in the project would be useful, because there's a lot, right? They have like examples, which is cool. Like it is nice to have like canonical examples out there for some of these newer Gen I projects. But under the covers, I believe they use K-Serve, Kubernetes, bunch of CNCF projects. So it's not, there is a strong tie to, CNCF.
It does also look like Intel is still branded in this stuff.
Yeah, we could definitely make recommendations. I'm not going to hold that like as a
Yeah.
full black mark, but if it's optimized for an Intel processor, an NVIDIA type
Oh yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
think it's fine to document, but yeah, if they're
I just saw Intel AI for Enterprise RAG.
yeah, it's definitely written by some.
So when we are looking at this, I mean, do we have to consider,
Yeah,
like, does it work on non-Intel also?
yeah, absolutely. Like they should definitely have a response for that. I don't expect them to like. It's kind of like we have like Cloud Custodian initially was, I think, very biased for, I think, Amazon in the beginning, right? And then they eventually added support for Azure and so on. So like Sandbox level, I think we're flexible as long as they say they have a plan to support
Yeah.
other things. And
That's
I'm pretty sure they support, like they have to, like, nothing out there these days, like it has to support NVIDIA related things, not only
yeah.
Intel.
And
So my guess it's a mix already, but it's hard to
that's
tell.
yeah, that's consistent. Like we have generally accepted projects in the sandbox that only support one, with generally for incubation, they need to
Yeah,
add support for another, or basically have a way of having like a framework or extension model that does, allow other vendors to, or other platforms to
they,
be added.
they need a plan. Like
Yeah.
they need to like, if the answer is no, we don't support anything else, then obviously that's an issue.
I'm asking too many questions, but I'll ask the last one and I keep shut after that. So
Yeah,
in the newer scheme of the tag redo, like where
yeah.
will this end up?
Ooh,
Reporting.
interesting. Here's the question. Where does Dapper currently live now?
So
Someone could answer that question. Good.
Dapper would live, I believe, in
Yeah.
developer experience
Okay,
or,
so I would probably
workloads
toss
foundation.
this. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
probably
I think
toss
it.
this in a similar place where Dapper would be. So
Well, really quick on the tag reboot is that one of the purposes of the reboot is not to align projects with single tags, because that is too siloed, right?
mhm.
So something like this would be cross-cutting, and that's totally fine. And thank you, Bob. So the tag reboot really being able to easily create initiatives within each of the tags and have a
Mhm.
structure where projects and maintainers can easily go in, hey, I've got this initiative, okay, and either, stay for the dialogues and community or move to a different tag, a different initiative. So just throw that out there. Sorry, Dim, I know you wanted to say something too.
No, we'll have to stick in MLAI somewhere here too, Karina, because that's what we are being asked for, right?
But just one point before we wrap up. What exactly do we want to do here? Like we move it to the next Sandbox review, or we do it offline, or?
I think you just move it to the next one. There needs to be more deliberation. It's
Okay.
like, no, it's, yeah.
Okay.
Does
I think
anyone?
that's the main thing.
Yeah, we need a
Main thing we
volunteer
need
to
is
look at it.
we
Yeah.
need 2 people to assign to it, and we move it to the next Sandbox review.
Yeah.
I can be one of the volunteer. I actually tried to use the project a while back. I couldn't get it running myself. I'm also want to understand like the hardware requirement they have.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take it as well, mostly to also go through the LFAI projects and see the connections, because there's things like Onyx and things like this that are used by Kubeflow and others.
Yep.
So we have a lot of cross projects.
Yep.
So I will create the next milestone and start adding stuff there.
Nice.
Oops.
And I think that's it for today. We cleaned up the backlog.
Nice. This may be the rarest applications to have basically how many projects in the Sandbox backlog now?
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah,
We're
beautiful.
at 0.
Just the
Beautiful.
OPEA, right? The one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was opened last week.
That's gonna be happy people like KubeCon. Congrats all. That's good.
I think the pre-analysis really helps. We come with a lot more work done before, so it's much easier to do the review.
Yeah.
So can we this time at least send out a note saying, our queue is empty?
Well, that's like
Well,
legitimately should have like a blog post or something, because it's not just this, but like in the moving levels, it's down to like 3 that actually match the criteria to be reviewed.
Yeah, we should actually.
I added a couple more.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
No. I think that's a great idea. Just saying like, hey, we've cleared the Sandbox backlog. Our what's it called, moving levels review stuff is clear. Just like something to point to that, hey, the TOC has listened, improved processes, and got through things. I think that would be a nice.
We also have the
thing.
keynote where we can highlight this as well in the KubeCon.
But at least let's send an email to the TOC mailing list, please.
Yeah.
So who takes this? Who wants to do it?
But
I can send
Bob, do you want to help? Yeah. Someone, maybe Lynn, Bob, help draft something.
Yeah, Bob, Bob, I'll work with you. How about that?
Okay.
People might take it as a challenge, and we get flooded by new projects.
Which would be funny, but overall, I think it's something to celebrate too. So
yes.
Yeah.
Nice job, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Just toast. All right, this is very good. I think that's it. Congrats, everyone.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks,
morning.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Last time.
Dave.
Dave.
Thanks all.
Bye.